I feel like I need to whisper because this is, I need to like warm up my voice. This is the first time I've spoken today. It's not even 7:30 a.m. I haven't even got my laptop. I've basically just been journaling, and while I was journaling, the idea for what I wanted to speak about came, and I was like I then got in my head a little bit about it because I was like, I literally, guys, I haven't even washed my face. I haven't washed my face. I clean my teeth because me and Ro go out for really early morning walks at the minute, and I've started this new morning routine where I then sit outside in our garden and just on my own and literally just like ponder existence and write down in my paper journal just any thoughts or feelings or just everything that's in my brain. It makes no sense. And I also purposely never read it back. You know, when some people find old diary entries or diaries and they'll read them back, I don't feel like I can do that because I think I would literally want to crawl out of my skin because I don't know what the fuck is coming out of my brain when it comes to this. But I challenged myself. I had this vision for today that I was gonna get up and shower and put a bit of makeup on and do the podcast and all of this, and that's just not, that went out of the window. And I thought, like, can I record this like literally in basically just in this attire and just how I am? And I was like, yeah, fucking course you can, because my whole thing is about just being yourself and just showing up. And I think, well, writing this down this morning, I was like, I feel like this is something that people will get, and also I just want to talk it out loud. I also don't know how this is going to go because I purposely usually film in the afternoon, because the lighting in this room isn't that great anyway, but it is the only room where I can set up the camera and then film, and we have got a window here, so it is like can be nice natural light when the blinds are open. But whenever people walk past, he's got so much better, but Rogue can get very barky, which is not an issue. Like, this is literally his house and we live in it, and if I choose to film in his room, then that's what I've got to deal with. But usually if I do it later on in the afternoon, it's a lot quieter. But we are literally, I'm not kidding, I don't even have my phone with me, because another thing I've been trying to avoid is being on my phone in the mornings. But it's not even 7:30, so the kids are going to slowly get ready and be walking past to go to school, so we're going to see how he deals with this. So what I was writing about this morning was basically, I had a day yesterday, guys. I had a day where I well and truly, I don't even want to say I fell into the pit. I think I made choices that caused me to crawl into the pit of doom for the entire day. I could not get into a proper workflow. Tasks that when I'm focused take me maybe an hour, I'm not kidding, were taking me like 3. I was so distracted. I was on my phone all fucking day. Like it got to the point where I was just picking up my phone and scrolling while I was waiting for something to fucking load on my laptop screen, or I was literally, I felt like my eyes were going to go square. And then it almost got to like, I have a reminder on my phone of like, oh, you've reached your Instagram limit, like click off or whatever. And you can postpone that limit for like 15 minutes, or like ignore the limit for the day. I'm not even kidding. It wasn't even midday and I hit that limit, and I was like, ignore it for the rest of the day. And I feel like once I'd got into that where I'd ignored it, I was like, well, I'm fucking in it now, so I'm just going to stay in it. So I wasn't making good choices to pull myself out of that fucking spiral. And the best way to describe it is I just had a day of absolute consumption. I just was consuming everybody else's life, everybody else's thoughts, but not even consuming good fucking content. And when I say content, I don't just mean Instagram, but like I wasn't listening to music or consuming things like when a podcast comes out that I really want to listen to that I can learn from. I was literally just consuming absolute fucking shit and looking at everybody else living their life that day, knowing full well that I know that's not real, but really falling into the trap of just watching everybody else live their life and me not being able to focus and me getting annoyed with how my work day was looking. Everything was taking me ages to do. I couldn't focus. I was getting so distracted. I would be thinking about one thing and then think about another. And this is like, if you're self-employed, I think you'll really get this, is that whole thing of like, when you are self-employed, you have to be the employer which is great. So my employer self decides what tasks I do on each day and when I'm starting and when I'm finishing work and all of those things. But for that to work, I also have to be the employee. And yesterday I was a fucking shit employee. Like if I was working for someone else yesterday, I would have fired me. Like there is no way. I wouldn't have had a job. And I think asking yourself that question really helps when you work for yourself, because you can get really frustrated and annoyed when things maybe aren't moving in the direction that you want, or they're not moving as fast as you want, and you're not getting the success that you want. And you have to sometimes sit back and be like, okay, if someone else was paying me and I was giving them the hours, would I be a good employee? And if the answer is no, like it was for me yesterday, I was like, okay, you can't be feeling sorry for yourself for this, because you're literally not doing anything to make yourself feel better at all. And it then got me thinking, because I was thinking so much. I mean, I do a lot of thinking. I fucking overthink everything. But about how that was my day yesterday, but my day was filled with hundreds of other people's days, because I could see what they were doing because of our phones, because of social media, because that is just it sounds bad, but like our culture now, just to look and watch what everyone else is doing. And I am such a nostalgic person. Like all the TV shows pretty much I watch, all of the movies, all the music I listen to are from the 90s and the noughties. Like I love that time period. And I think it's because it's when I grew up, like I am like a proper full grown millennial, like to my core. But also I loved that time. And one of the things I get like bitter or resentful for is I thought I was going to grow up and have that life that was portrayed to me. And we don't have that, because the world has changed. So when we used to watch like Friends or, these different sitcoms where these people live their lives and stuff, that isn't what our life looks like, because we have our phones. But what I envy so much, and why I think I like crave that time period, is because my mum, as an example, my mum also works for herself, but she's a hairdresser. So say if my mum was having a day where she didn't feel great, but she was working, she's just in her day. Like she doesn't know what anybody else's work looks like. She's just in her day, cutting hair, doing that. That was her life for her day. And then she would come home. Throughout that course of the day, like she doesn't know what her friend's work day looks like. She doesn't know what her friend's office looks like. She doesn't know what her friends wore to work. She doesn't know if she's had a promotion, had a good day. She doesn't know if she's out for like drinks with colleagues or having this fun life, because she can't see it, because she's not scrolling her phone to consume all this other stuff. So she's literally just in her day. And when she goes home to her house, she only knows what inside her house looks like. So the only way she would know what someone else's house looked like inside to maybe compare is if like a friend invited her around and she'd go around. Like it wouldn't even enter her brain to wonder what someone's inside of their house looked like. However, as an example, when we bought this house, I'll like sometimes be like, oh, I think I want to change this in the living room or change this in the bedroom. And then I'll think of, my first thought process will be all of the bedrooms, all of the houses that I've seen on Instagram or YouTube, or whatever it is, and how they look and what their house is like, and instantly start comparing. Whereas that wasn't even a thing. Like that wasn't even a thing for like our parents' generation or of that time period. Like they didn't even know. And I'm not saying that I don't know the stats for this, so this might be what it is, but this is me literally just talking as the thoughts are coming to me. So if I say anything wrong or statistically wrong, or I don't know, just something that isn't true, then just bear with me. But I wonder if that is why it feels like a lot more of us nowadays suffer with mental health and depression or comparison or OCD, like all of these different things, because my mum could have had a bad day, or anyone, using my mum as an example, but could have had a bad day back then, and it's just themselves in their day. They can't compare it to anybody else's day or what anybody else is doing. They're just doing their day. And I feel like when you're like that and you're in it, you then can get out of it quicker. Whereas we'll have those days and then we're on our phones scrolling and comparing and getting into this doom, which keeps us stuck in that time period, like in that frame of mind for so much longer. And it takes so much more, I think, discipline and like just fucking grit to be like, no, I'm not going to look at that. And I also think it's really easy for people like of that generation, like say if my mum or someone says to me like, oh, you're always on your phone, and they don't get it, like, because they're not on their phone, but they haven't grown up with it, they're not exposed to it so much, because we also all know, like, my mum and dad are on Facebook. like you know, you have aunties and uncles and stuff that are of the older generation that have now found Facebook, and they are like they're on their phone looking at Facebook because it is so addictive. So everyone is doing it. But I was just spiraling right and being like, I can't imagine, like, you know, when you go on, like, you say I was thinking of like kids' birthday parties. So my mind is mad. But when I was a kid and I wanted a birthday party, I would just ask my mum for like, I remember I didn't have a lot of huge parties, but I remember one party, maybe it was my 5th or 6th, but I just really remember it because we hired like a church hall and had like balloons, and people came, and, you know, and you sat and you had like paper plates and food, and it was like music, and we played like musical statues. And I remember that being like a really cool party. Now, I know obviously kids of 5 or 6 don't have Instagram, or shouldn't fucking have Instagram, or fucking be on social media or any sort of device like that. But say like my mum planning that party, she just like knew, oh, okay, she likes this colour, she likes whatever, I'll just get these balloons and I'll just have this party. And the only other kids' party she would have seen would have been going with me to take me to another kids' party to have a look at how they decorated the church hall, or what they did at soft play or whatever. That was the only comparison. So she was just going off what I liked. Whereas parents now may be planning kids' birthdays parties that are so extravagant and have all this stuff, because you can then fucking find a Pinterest board or an account specific for certain parties where you're looking inside these worlds of all these different houses and all these different things that you could do. And it's just so insane and so overwhelming. But back then you didn't have any of that. You just did what you did. It feels like I'm really contradicting myself because I love being online and I share stuff, and I do. But there's like two sides of it where I love all that. And then also I am so envious of that life that is just not about that, which is why I think I love all like nostalgic accounts, and I'll follow people that live kind of like it's the 2000s, or make those kind of vlogs, or have like their kitchen set up in a certain way that it looks like in the 90s, and they're just watching VHS tapes. Like, I like crave that, because it's not just the aesthetic, yeah, it's deeper than that. It's like that world of when you are somewhere, you are just in that one place. So like, as the parent thing, again, I haven't got children, so there's no judgment from me on this at all, because I have no idea how fucking it looks fucking very difficult having kids, so whatever. But when my mum would take me to the park, or whatever she would do, or my dad, or whatever, they were just with me at the park. Like, that's just where they were. In the same way as if they went out with their friends for food, they were just with their friends out for food, whatever that is. Whereas now you can take your kids to the park and also be replying to work emails, or scrolling, or answering messages, or like, you're not fully there. And I think it's that what I crave, because I just keep thinking of yesterday. If I didn't have that device and I wasn't constantly looking at stuff, it would have just been me in my house. Like, I couldn't have compared my work day to anyone else. I couldn't have compared my office to anyone else. Like, I remember at one point yesterday, I was literally like looking around my office and was like pissed off with my office, because I was like, this is just such a shit fucking office. Like, what the fuck? Like, I don't even like what I've got in here. Like, there's not enough space, blah, blah, blah. And I was saying that to myself, imagining the office that I wanted, that came from seeing other people have these crazy, huge, lovely offices. But actually, my office is absolutely fine. It has everything in it that I need to work. I have a fucking amazing pink like Mac computer. I have like my headphones. I have my cameras. Also have my laptop. Like, I have a reasonably comfortable chair. Like, I have like cool memorabilia and stuff to look at that I like. Like, I have a nice office. But I was like, imagining all this other stuff. Whereas back in the day, you wouldn't fucking know what anybody else's office or anything looked like. So I've been thinking about that a lot. And something I did do yesterday that I wanted to share if you're in those days, because I caught myself, I'll be full transparency. It wasn't until like, I'm not joking, like 6 o'clock in the evening. Well, 2 things I did earlier on in the day, which didn't actually stop the spiral, but it like paused the spiral. So sometimes we can just have a pause, is I got to a point where I was like, I'm actually not doing really good work here at all. And the work I am doing is taking me, as I said, like 3 times longer than usual. But I'm feeling guilty that it's like 1:30 and I haven't done X, Y, and Z or whatever. So I'm like pushing through, trying to get this done, because once this thing is done, then I'll have a break. And I stopped myself and was like, I'm just going to take a break now, and I'm going to take an actual break. So I came down into the kitchen, put music that I love on the speaker and left my phone by the speaker so it was out of the way. And I cooked what would have been my evening meal as my lunch meal, because I was like, all right, I'm just going to cook and do something where I have to use my hands and follow instructions and just be present and ignore my phone and just listen to the music that I'm enjoying, and then sit down at the table and just eat my food. So I gave myself like 45 minutes. I think it worked out like 45 minutes where I wasn't working. But it was like, well, it was more beneficial to actually take that break, because then when I went back, I did feel better. I then very quickly like fell back into the like, it was just not a good day. And sometimes you're just not going to have good days. You're not like, and that's okay. But when you're in that not good day, it can be like, at the end of the day. So it was literally about 6:00 and my screen time was horrific, and I'd posted. So I kind of have this rule where I'm like, everyone says that they have to be on their phone because they work online. But I do think that is bullshit, because the most fun I've had online and the most fun I've had is when I have been creating a lot more and I've just posted and then connected with people and then left it. Because I think most of the time people say, no, I need to be on my phone, but you're actually just doom scrolling and doing fuck all creative at all. You're literally just consuming. And I think if your screen time is like of a ridiculously high level, which I swear mine was yesterday, it was fucking insane. But then I looked at my output of creativity, which is what I use social media for my work. I actually wasn't working or doing anything on my phone yesterday. It was completely consuming. And I'd only posted like 2 posts, I think, and posted a couple of things on stories. And I was like, I'm literally going to call myself out on my own bullshit. This is crap. Like, this is ridiculous. So I had the thought of like, I feel shit, and it's because I have just consumed all day. I need to create. So I put my phone away and I had an idea for a piece of content, and I would never usually film at like fucking 6:15 at night, but I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to do it. I never fucking thought I'd be recording at like 7:30 in the morning, but here we are. So I just set up my phone, recorded the video that I wanted to do. It was something to do with the Spice Girls. And I was like, do you know what? I don't even care if it's like, it was now getting like close to 7:00. I was like, I don't even care if it's 7. Like I can't be like, working at 7:00. Well, I've fucking not worked all day if I'm being really fucking honest with myself. So I can work at 7:00 in the evening. And I went upstairs. I was like, I'm going to edit it. Found all the stuff that I wanted to do for the B-roll, for the background, for the green screen. Like I was having so much fun finding all these Spice Girl pictures. Put it all in. Was having fun doing the text and the captions and the pop-ups and the sound effects. Just literally created. And after that, I felt so good and happy and relaxed, and was like, that is why I felt this is what I've done. This day has been bad because I have been a consumer, not a creator. And you don't have to be a creator in the terms of like a content creator for the online world. What I mean is, look at your day, and have you just been consuming like the news, like bad news, obviously, of course, social media, Facebook, all of that kind of stuff. Maybe the phone calls you've had have been with family or friends telling you bad news, like whatever. Like, what have you consumed, like media-wise or whatever, in that day? And how has that affected you? And how can you swap that and then be like, okay, I'm not going to be a consumer anymore. I'm going to be a creator. And that might be reading your book rather than watching TV. Yeah. So again, depends the different types of media, but reading your book instead of watching TV. Maybe you sit down and you have a journal. Maybe you do have a paint, you draw. Maybe you cook, because that is creating, like you're making something. Maybe you decide to cook something for your dinner, take a bit longer doing it. Like, what can you do just to stop consuming and start making things? And it was just crazy to me, because I was like, how have I spent like 10 hours of this day feeling so shit? I messaged Lewis and was like, mate, I'm not having a good day. Like I've put myself in the pit and I don't know how I'm going to get out of this. I'm not having a very nice time today. So for those like 9-10 hours, and then I can spend an hour and a half making, creating, putting my focus on something else. And then I went to bed fucking happy. I went to bed happy. Like, because I wasn't consuming everybody else's life and I was actually living my own life. So if you're in that headspace, ask yourself, okay, what can I make right now? What can I create? As I said, doesn't have to be content related. It can literally be, can I cook a fucking meal? Because as I said, then when I was reflecting back, I felt so good at that lunchtime because I did make the meal. I followed the instructions. I made something. I was doing something with my hands for myself. Like that is what helped me switch off. So what can you do? So yeah, that was the inner thoughts of my journal this morning. I hope you took this. I hope my weird, horrible day in some way can help you on a weird, horrible day. And you can take this and also realize that you're not alone in this. And this happens to fucking everyone. I pride myself. Like I did a whole episode on getting out of a creative rut. Do you know what I mean? Like I pride myself on the fact that I take my creativity seriously and that I don't think you need to be on your phone all the time and all of these different things. And I still had a day. Of course I did, because I'm human in the fucking pits of hell, consuming everybody else's life and making me feel shit about my own. So it happens to everyone. So you need like those circuit breakers, like wait, stop, take the break. What can I do to get myself out of this? What can I make? What can I create? Okay, I'll be back. And next time I promise I'll shower. Next time I'll shower and I'll, you know, put a little bit of effort in for you guys. But as I say to everyone, the message is more important than the aesthetic. So hopefully you got from this what I wanted you to get from this. And let me know as well if I don't know, if you resonate with anything or if you've had similar thoughts about that time period or just any of it. Like, I want to connect. So yeah. Bye guys. Have a good day.